if you look at the history of education, then you will be surprised to know that there was no significant change that was made during last 34 years in our national education policy. Therefore, this education policy is a kind of reformatory movement, and it's a kind of historic movement for our India, because this is going to take the Indian education to new heights. So let's understand what this new education policy is. This national education policy helps in increasing the gross enrollment ratio of students in schools as well as in colleges. Moreover, it focuses on making India a global knowledge superpower. This national education policy wants to promote the education among the Indian people in both the rural and urban areas, from elementary education, means the education from class 1 to the classes of colleges. The first education policy was given by our worthy Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in 1968. Secondly, it was promoted in 1986 by our Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, and now it's the third time that it has been amended by our worthy Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2020. So this education policy have been divided into four major parts. First part is school education, second part is higher education, third one is additional key features, which includes the teachers and other focus areas, and the fourth part is transforming education, which includes the authorities that are implementing this education policy. So first of all, let's discuss the part one of this education policy, school education. The vision of national education policy in schools is basically to increase the high quality education and to provide this type of education to all the students. Also, the vision of this policy is to increase the enrollment ratio of students to 100% till 2035. This education policy also deals with the fundamental rights, duties, and constitution values for our Indian constitution, so that every one of us get to know about the basic duties of every individual with respect to our constitution. Also, this policy deals with the skills, values, moral skills, and all these things in order to check that all the students till class 10 are able to understand all the skills, values, our rights and duties, all the things. The next are some of the broad objectives of this policy. This policy basically focuses on the conceptual understanding rather than focusing on the rote learning. Rote learning means ratification type of learning. The new education policy deals with the concept and critical thinking of the students. It wants to focus on the student capability as well as the analytical powers of a student. Moreover, this policy also gives different perspectives for teachers and faculties and making the teachers as the heart of learning process. This policy deals with making the education light but tight. What it means light but tight? It means that the weight of the bags of students of primary classes have been decreased, but the education and the quality of education that is being provided to them is going to increase. This policy also wants to make substantial investment in strong, vibrant, and public education. Next are the targets of national education policy. The first and foremost target is to increase the literacy rate of India. Currently, the literacy rate is very low right now in India. Moreover, you can see that that there are maximum students who have dropped out from the schools after class 8. They don't continue their class 9, 10, and further studies just because they don't want to study because of this rote learning process. But now government has made the government has made focus on this literacy rate and provided different new criteria for learning the objectives. Also, a new policy have been designed that for each student, for each class in a student in a college or school, there will be 30:1 ratio, means pupil teacher ratio. The student teacher ratio will be 30:1. For every group of 30 students, there will be a single teacher teaching them. But in disadvantaged areas like hilly areas or some other village areas, the PTR ratio is 25:1. The top priority in this sector is to increase the gross enrollment ratio to 100% till 2035. Okay. Next are the basic structure. So what are the major changes in order to implement all these things? The first and foremost change is to obsolete the concept of 10 plus 2 and to implement the concept of 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Now what is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4? It's basically 5 means the first 5 years of a student entering into the school. Every student after the age of 3 years, 3 to 6 years, will be sent to Anganwadis, Balvatikas or preschools for their foundational learning. Then from class 1 to 2, class 1 and 2 will be having of 2 years, and there will be no examination for students till class 2. The first examination of student will be held in class 3, then it will be having in class 5 and then in 8. There is no other examination to be held in all these stages. Moreover, in fundamental uh, in in fundamental and foundational stage, the different types of play-based activities will be held with the students so that the critical thinking and ethics can be increased in the students. The class 3 to 5 will be focusing on the basic requirements of any student in order to deal with the current scenario of education. The class 6 to 8 will be having the vocational courses as a key feature. Vocational courses will be like if a student if we check the current scenario, then you student can choose their subjects after class 10 from class 11 and class 12. But now students will be able to choose the subjects from class 6 to 8 as well as from class 9 to 12. From class 6 to 8, they will be teaching all the subjects including botany, maths, music, art, and the basic subjects that are already being taught. From class 9 to 12, student will be having a choice. They can choose any type of combinations of subjects. For example, if a student want to go for science, they can also choose a subject of arts as well. There is no such criteria that a student of science will not be able to choose arts, will not be able to choose commerce. They can use any combination of subjects in their criteria. The next is the major key challenges for childhood education, means the first level of the education that was in Anganwadis and preschool education. It deals with the developing curiosity of the student, logical thinking and problem solving. So student will be taught all these capabilities without studying the subjects. The student will not be taught about the how to read, write or anything. They will be taught by some practical examples. They will be taught art, craft and music, relationship with nature by growing different types of vegetables and fruits in their at their own campus. Moreover, the color, shape, alphabet and numbers will be taught in till class 2. Okay. Next are the teamwork and collaborations will be taught to students. Play-based activities will be taught. Ethics will be taught to students. Self-identity and etiquettes will be taught to them. The next comes the support and finance. Who is going to support all these criteria? All these things will be held under the supervision of Anganwadi workers, but Anganwadi workers will also be covered under the NCERT scheme. Also, the midday meal scheme has been extended to preparatory class, mean till class 8. The student will currently till class 5, the midday meal facility is provided to student, but now till class 8, the facility will be provided to them. Next are the medium of instructions and other languages, in which language the student will be taught. Here the focus is on the mother tongue of students, so that if we look at the current scenario, the students are not even able to read out their mother tongue material. But now the focus is on the mother tongue. Therefore, till class 5 or preferably till class 8, all the students will be taught in their home language or mother tongue. Also, they can prefer some other languages like English, Chinese, Korean or Japanese or any other languages as mentioned here after class 8. Next are some of the broad strategies that are being held under this national education policy. First of all, distance learning and open learning is initialized in this national education policy. Peer tutoring is being initialized. Also, the home schooling will be held in this education policy. The student with special care will be taught at their home. Also, the civil society will be dealing with all these criterias. The next objectives for this are to bring back the dropouts, means the students who have already left after class 8 will be brought back to school so that they can learn and they can increase the literacy rate of our schools and colleges. The semester system is being started for all the classes, not for only 9th or 10th. The semester system is for all the classes from class 1 to class 12. Okay, and the curriculum is also reduced so that the weight of bags can be reduced, more space can be provided for critical thinking, discovery based and discussion based learning will be there. Next comes the evaluation and assessment, how the evaluation and assessment will be made in this criteria. The assessment will be shifted from rote learning, rote memorization skills to the critical thinking and analytical skills. Also, the MHRD, Ministry of Human Resource Development, have been renamed as Ministry of Education just because now NACSC has been implementing under the MOE. And the examinations will be held only for students of class 3, 5 and 8 in addition to board examination of class 10th and 12th. There will be no other examination in all these classes. The board exams will be made easier. For example, a student is not able to attend the classes, or also he is not having any much capability in learning all the subjects. Now the student will be able to pass the subjects with only attending the classes without making any additional efforts. The board exams will be held in two occasions. The one will be the main examination and another will be the improvement examination, where the student can improve their marks that have already been obtained in the main exam. Also, the different subjects will be having two types of questions in their question papers. The objective type questions will also be included in the question papers along with the descriptive type. Till now, only descriptive type questions were there, but now objective type questions will also be there. Now, what is the criteria for recruitment and deployment of faculty? The faculty will be deputed after the 4-year integrated B.Ed program. So if any one of you wants to go for being a teacher or being a lecturer, then he or she has to go for 4-year B.Ed course, integrated B.Ed program. Also the TET test that is currently being held under the supervision of our government. This test will be now focusing on the 4 levels of checking the teacher's capability. First level will be the foundation level that will be dealing with class 1 to 2. Second level will be the preparatory level that will be dealing for class 3 to 5. Third will be the middle, class 6 to 8. And last secondary is from class 9 to 12. NCERT and SCERT are the two boards that will be dealing with all these scenarios. Now comes the turn of the second part of our education policy, that's higher education. So higher education has many different key goals. Let's discuss first. Current now, the GDP, gross domestic product, gross deployment ratio is basically 4.4, but now it's being increased to 6%. Also, 100% gross enrollment ratio is being optimized, means they are expecting the 100% gross enrollment ratio in schools till 2030, and 50% gross enrollment ratio in higher education. If we see the current scenario, only 25% of students go for higher education after completing their 12th. But now they are expecting 50% with the changed policy. Okay, so there are many different parts that are dealing with this perspective. The first one is a multiple entry exit system. Means the students can take entry in each year, in any year, after taking a break as well. For example, a student who has done admission in graduation, if he has completed 1 year, he will get a certificate that he has completed the 1 year of the graduation. After that, if he want to leave the class, if he don't want to continue his study, he can leave. he is not supposed to continue. If he want to rejoin the class after 1 year, 2 year of dropout, he can rejoin in directly in class in second year rather than starting from first year as onwards. Okay, so after completion of second year, he will be given an advanced diploma certificate that he has completed the advanced diploma. After 3 year, a bachelor degree will be considered, and after 4 year, bachelor degree with research will be considered. So we can say that you can drop out after class after 3 years. But if you want to go for further studies like masters or any PhDs, then you have to go for fourth year, that's known as bachelor degree with research. Highlights for this higher education are every degree will be of 4 years, as I have already mentioned in the previous slide. All the graduation courses will have major and minors. Means current now the major and minors were selected according to the stream chosen by the student. But now all the streams have been merged, and student can choose any subject as major and any as minor. For example, a student can choose science as major and music as minor. So this type of facility is also there now. All the higher education will be governed by only one authority. Like there will be no different universities handling all this. All the universities will be under the single authority, that's Ministry of Education. UGC and AICT are going to be merged. All the universities will have same grading and other rules because all will be under the one supervising authority. Multiple entry exit system will be there. Credit-based system, different types of credit credentials will be provided to students so that they can come back and join again their course that they have left in between. And more focus will be on students' practical and application knowledge rather than rote learning. The gross enrollment ratio of higher education is expected to be 50% by 2035, and this will be the responsibility of higher education institutions to reach this goal. So for this goal, the government has imposed a cap on the fee structure of the colleges and universities. Now, any college or university is bound to have their fee structure below that cap. Current now the scenario was any college can impose different types of fees on different courses according to their requirements and according to their infrastructure and other facilities. But now the government has imposed a cap, so universities will be under this single authority. So now the gross enrollment ratio will be improved for sure. So what are various initiatives taken by government in order to increase this enrollment ratio? The first and foremost initiative is Diksha app. Diksha app is basically for teachers as well as for students who want to learn anything from online resources. All types of resources, all types of studies, engineering, theoretic, vocational learning, science learning, and all those are covered in this Diksha. The next is ePathshala. ePathshala is a postgraduate, is a gateway for postgraduate. Basically, it's for postgraduate courses. If anyone is focusing on post graduation, then he or she can study from this online platform. The next one is Swayam Prabha, the dish channels. Now you can see, maybe you people have seen that different types of channels have been started by government where they are studying, they are making the students familiar with the subject requirements. You can check all these channels from Dish TV and different type of platforms. Also, National Digital Library have been introduced by the government where different types of books for all the streams have been provided. So you don't need to go to library physically for reading a book. You just go on this National Digital Library platform through its website, and you can search your subject, you can search your book along with the author, and your book will be provided to you. The next one is Swayam online education platform, and this is basically an online learning platform where online education is provided by different teachers. And the last one is virtual labs. Students can do practicals virtually without going to labs. So after this, the third part of our education policy came, that's other sectors. What are different highlights for other sector? the first and foremost highlight is in order to increase the enrollment ratio, a new national education technology firm has been started, and it's an autonomous body, means all the decision will be taken by this NETF for enhancing learning, assessment and planning. Also, NCFTE, National Curriculum Framework Teacher Education, have been implemented for 4-year integrated course of B.Ed, so that teachers can be taught for different perspectives and for different types of criteria. Ministry of Human Resource Development has been renamed as Ministry of Education. And there is one more highlight, that all the teachers will have to take training of 50 hours per year in order to increase their capability, and they have to attend the faculty development program of 50 hours at least. This is the criteria that is being highlighted in this sector. So the last part is implementing authority. Who is going to implement all these things now? For this implementation, various bodies like MHRD, Women and Child Development WCD, NCRT, SCRT, State Department of Education, Health and Family Welfare, CABE, Central Advisory Board of Education, Tribal Affairs, and many other bodies have been united along with each other in order to implement all these things. And also, they are dealing with different types of criteria that can improve it more in order to achieve the more enrollment ratio of students and to increase the literacy rate of our country. Last but not the least, I would like to conclude that education must move toward less content and more towards learning about how to think critically and solve problems, how to be creative and multidisciplinary, and how to innovate, adapt and observe new material in novel and changing fields. The pedagogy must evolve, means the Shikshastar, pedagogy means Shikshastar, must evolve to make education more experiential, holistic, integrated, inquiry-driven, discovery-oriented, learner-centered, discussion-based, flexible, not focusing on rote learning. It has to be enjoyable. If the lecture will not be enjoyable, no one is going to listen anything. So all these things are the objectives of this national education policy. It's basically the conclusion of this policy. Okay. So thank you so much for your valuable time. If you people have any type of query, you can unmute yourself and ask me the queries.